What's the honor system? I'm sure you did. There's another one coming. I'll mention that. There's always another one. That's a good point. All right. We ready in there? I apologize. I'm still fighting allergies. Okay. Good evening, all. If you don't remember me, since we've been gone for 3 weeks, it is time for Citizens Leadership Institute Session 6, or 7 if you want to count the State of the City. But it is the penultimate session of the series. Penultimate? Any idea what that means? Anybody? Next to last. That's right, next to last. Just one more class after tonight. Tonight is the second to last class. We will get together 2 weeks from now and cover the last couple of areas that we need to cover, including the city clerk's office and the city attorney's office. We'll learn a little bit more about nonprofits, which are very important in the city. And of course, we'll finish up with our area, Matthew McNulty and I, marketing communications, which is, of course, very near and dear to our hearts. But tonight, we're going to be very learned folks, because we'll finish up with the library. We're going to hear about parks and recreation. But we start off with one of our guests, which is also a very, very important partner to the city of Apache Junction. Oh, and before I forget, especially for the folks online who may be looking at me, you will see I'm modeling, as I promised, the famous CLI polo shirt that all who complete the class will receive. That's why I asked you for your preference on size. You will see a couple up here as well. They are the men's version, a women's version, and just a different color. We can decide on color. If everybody online has a preference on color, I'm happy to hear it. And we will get one color for the whole class, so we'll have to vote together on that one. But you can take a look at that. If you haven't sent me your polo shirt size, please do so. And as was pointed out by Natalie and I think somebody else, this particular brand does run a little small, so maybe go up a size when you send over your request. For me, I guess that's 4X. Okay. So as I said, we are going to start with a very important partner, and I say that because inevitably when I get a call about the city, and we're talking about folks who call us about moving to the city, about doing business in the city, about doing just about anything related to the city in some official capacity one way or the other, almost always one of the first questions I get is, how are the schools? The school district in particular, and of course we have a couple of charter schools, which we will mention before we're all done, are very, very integral. They're critical to the municipality that they reside in. So it is a very important part of the city operations in general and any kind of city life. We also happen to have an intergovernmental agreement with the Apache Junction Unified School District, which if Ms. Heather doesn't address, we will certainly try to address before the end of the night, which is an interesting thing as well. So we're going to learn all about the largest school district, of course, in the city and in this area. And we have with us, we're very proud to have with us, the superintendent of the Apache Junction Unified School District. She comes to us with 24 years of experience in the school district and learned degrees from Northern Arizona University. And she's going to tell you all about what's going on at the school district. So the superintendent of the Apache Junction Unified School District, Heather Wallace.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me tonight. So I'm Heather Wallace, like Al said, and I grew up in Connecticut. I grew up back east. My mom moved out here she was in a doctorate program. When it was time for me to come out and go to school, at that time I said, there's no way I'm going to school in the desert. So send me to NAU, and that's where I went. I got my undergraduate there. I got a master's in reading curriculum. I got a master's in leadership, and I'm currently working on my doctorate. So my degrees are all from NAU. I started out in the school district right after I graduated from college. I worked at Gold Canyon Elementary School. I was a sub at the time, moved around a lot, and then they just kept calling me, and I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to be at that school for most of that year. I was a teacher, I was a librarian for the school district, I was a reading specialist, I was the federal grants manager. I then was the principal at Superstition Mountain Elementary School. Then when I was the current principal when they decided to close that school, so then I went back to the district, and I've worked there since the closure, and then this past year was named the intern superintendent, and then in December named the superintendent and given a contract for 3 years. So I tell you that because as we talk about leadership tonight, I was very fortunate in my years in the school district to be given a lot of opportunities. And so I was able to better myself, go to school at the time while I was teaching and kind of looking for that next step up. But I had really great mentors from other principals, veteran teachers that were in the school district. So I was given a lot of opportunities. And I just think it's important for you to always know that there's always something out there and just something to be looking for, because any little thing becomes a leadership thing. There's always some way that you can influence the people you're working with or the people that you're around. So, Apache Junction School District currently has approximately 3,100 students. There's 1 high school, 1 junior high, 3 elementary schools, and a preschool. Out of the preschool, we also run a child care facility, mostly used by staff, but also we welcome children from even outside the city, in the city, outside the city. We also ran a before and after school program from that same building for a couple of years, and then just recently, the Boys and Girls Club has taken over part of that building, and so they run the program in the afternoon, and we run the program in the morning. And if you have questions at any time, just interrupt me. So I came on board last April, and lots of different things were happening at that time. The previous superintendent had left. I came in kind of at the end of the year, and so it was really important at that time to just kind of steady the boat and keep it going and make sure that everybody felt confident that things weren't going to just fall apart, and so at that time, my audience really was the staff and the students. But as the summer went on, I realized that the parents and the community were going to be a big part of what I did. We had just come back from COVID. We had what I think I remember is 2 years. It seems like forever when I think about it. Just really tough years in the school district. And we kind of shuffled and changed and moved directions every week, it felt like, just because we had to be ready to do whatever needed to be done. And when it was time to come back in the spring, we came back in the spring, but it had really taken a toll on everybody. And it was hard on teachers, it was hard on the students, it was hard on families. And for us, we did the best that we could do instructionally and working with kids, but it's not the same as having them at school with you. So we had to also figure out how to fill those gaps, but keep kids moving. So a big part of what's been happening with the leadership team in Apache Junction is not only how to keep the kids moving, but keep the teachers positive. It's been tough on them, and they don't always feel supported. They don't always feel like people understand what's going on. So what I really have tried to do this year is just be there. And so my door's always open. People come and go through the district office when they want. I try to be at school really early in the morning and stay till mostly everybody's out, so that if people need me, I'm there. And so for me, building relationships has always been a big part of what I've done. And just what I value, and it's part of why I've stayed. It's really one of the big reasons I've stayed in Apache Junction, because of the relationships I've built and just that feeling of family. So it was important to me when I moved up into that role that didn't change, and that people still knew they could depend on me and they could come see me, and that I still cared about them. Yeah. It's high. It's really high. It's really bad this year especially. So I worked in different positions. I worked as a principal, so I saw staff turnover that way. When I was at the district office, I helped with hiring and just getting people onboarded with us. I have to say that this year we were very lucky to be able to turn our contracts out early. Typically, we don't get them out till April. We really pushed it this year to get them out in February. But unfortunately, when we came back, when it was time for those to close, that we had 30 resignations, which was probably more than I'd ever seen in the 20 years I'd been there. So it's hard. People feel very defeated right now, and just kind of struggling, because kids are tough in school now too. You know, they were out kind of doing their thing and listening to us, but it was a different environment. So just kind of bringing that all back together is what we work really hard. We meet as a leadership team once a week, all the principals, and just we do things and engage in things that keep us learning, but we also talk about the things that are happening on each campus, just so we can learn from that. I think just positive talk. You know, and the other thing that I say when I'm asked that is, we just need your time. So if you have time to go to a football game, go to a soccer game, if you have time to come to the play, if you have time to go to an event that we're holding, it's really hard to be a student that works so hard to do a play and look out in the audience, and the only people there are your parents or the other kids' parents. But when there's a lot of different faces out there and a lot of people, then you feel good and you feel happy about what you're doing. So I would say really just positive talk about what teachers are doing or going through, and then the time that you have that you could give us to be supportive. So our foundational beliefs are being built on the importance of relationships, a culture of excellence, and a staff that is positive, trustworthy, and supportive. So as a leader, every year, superintendents typically write a strategic plan. There's goals in the plan. There's, every part of the school district is part of that plan, and then how things are going to get better from where we are to the end of the year is really a part of that plan. What I talked to the school board about when I was asked to be the superintendent was for this year to just be about being here and being better than what we were being. And so when we look at that mountain, it doesn't matter if we're at the top of the mountain, just that we're all walking up the mountain. And you know, when you look at us for letter grades or what people say in other districts about Apache Junction School District, you don't always hear great things. But if you spent time in our schools, you would see teachers and staff that truly care about their students. And we're lucky and fortunate enough that we have kids in our schools that really care about their teachers. So, you know, there's that base and that foundation that we can build off of. Now, do people, are the kids struggling? Do they academically need a lot? They do. But the first part of it is them believing that the teachers believe in them. And so that's what we've spent a lot of time this year talking about, is just reminding the teachers that we believe in them, but then encouraging them to make sure the students know that they believe in the students. And we talk a lot in the past year about being giving grace and being humble. And so as much as the adults want grace for things that are going on, remember to give that to the students at the same time. And so that's been really impactful, I think, through the school district, because It's just allowed everybody to think a lot differently about the actions and the things they're doing. So this is our organizational structure. So the governing board is truly the leader of the school district. They make decisions on policy, they make decisions on the budget, and so we have a governing board meeting twice a month. On the first Tuesday of the month, the meeting's at 6 p.m., and on the second Tuesday of the month, the meeting's at 3 p.m., and that's more of a work session. So typically the way our meetings work is on those second Tuesdays of the month. That's when myself, my team brings information to share with the school board about upcoming things that we're going to need them to vote on. And then the following meeting, that Tuesday night meeting, that's when they typically vote on whatever we've talked about that previous meeting before. Those are open to the public meetings. At the work session during the day, there's not a time for people to get up and do a speak out, but at the evening meetings there are. So there's not many people that attend, but my hope is always that there's people watching, because we video them, and they're online and they're live as we're having them. So I know it's for a lot of the teachers, that's a much easier way also, so we have participation that way. So under the governing board is myself, so I answer to the governing board, and then the rest of the district answers to me. So I lead the district. There's an executive director of curriculum and student services. There is a human resources director. There's a business director. There's a technology director, a food services director, a transportation director, and a facilities director. So and then there's 5 principals. So there's the 5 principals, and there's 8 directors, and then myself and the executive director to educational services. And then under all those directors, the other departments fall. So transportation director takes care of her bus drivers, her office staff, those people that work in her department. Excuse me. Food services, there's a food service director. She takes care of all the cafeterias throughout the district, and then she manages those. The nice thing for us is we're small. So we meet together, all of us, the principals and the leaders, directors meet together once a month and have just a meeting catching up on what's going on in each department, and then also allows the principals to talk to the directors about what they need on their campuses. And then what I try to do is meet weekly with those directors and then meet weekly with principals. So I spend my day all day in meetings, all day. But it's the best way for me to just really be able to sit down and talk to people. And for me, having been in the positions I have been in, it's been really hard to kind of stay out of my lane sometimes this year. So I try to stay very involved and really know what's going on in all different pieces of the district. So we have a special education department. We have the communications department. We have the budget and financing, the director of finance. So that's a big department. That's a big role also. So does anybody have any questions about all the departments we have? All right.
Okay, I do have one question from the online folks. It's more of a curricular one,
Okay.
so I don't know if we're going to quite get to that, but let me go ahead and ask it now, and then you can figure out when you want to try to answer it best. The question is, what is being done to improve the reading proficiency scores, which the online person saying is lower than the state average?
It is. So we screen our students in kindergarten, first, second, and third grade. and we screen them at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. Once we have that data, we take that data and we create intervention plans for students. So we rank students based on the data, and then we start from the bottom and move up with our specialists. So we have reading specialists on each campus, and they pull students in small group. And the idea is that they give additional support to students, so they get their reading curriculum and what's happening in their grade level class with their grade level teacher, but then they get a second dose with the title specialist. And so reading is a challenge now, because years ago we did accelerated reader, we had lots of kids in the library, we had a lot of things going on, and now we have to try to pull those phones out of their hand, or take the tablet or take the computer and get the books back in their hand. And that's one of the things that I've been working really hard this year on, is show me that kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade kids are reading books. Because when I was teaching second grade, they had books in their hands all the time. And so that's a big challenge right now, and trying to get kids excited about the book when they're used to all these things that are moving fast, and things are changing and buzzing and switch this and go that way. So it's been a challenge. So our scores aren't there yet, but we are definitely making moves up that mountain. We just took to the governing board last night a new measurement system. So I'm excited about that, because we've had the same measurement, the same benchmarking system for years within the district. It's still a good system, but everybody's had it for so long. Somebody uses it this way, somebody uses it that way, somebody doesn't like it and doesn't use it at all. So now we've got something new to try to set some foundational guidelines to then build off of that, and then hopefully get stronger from there. So when we get data from our benchmarks, we sit together as a leadership team, we sit together as a curriculum team, then we sit together with teachers, and then the teachers sit together with teachers. So if I did something great and my scores are up, then you might sit with me to try to figure out what it is that you were doing that I could maybe do to get things going in my room. So there's a lot of collaboration that's going on, and again, a lot of leadership, not just from my position, not just from directors and principals, but even teacher leaders within the classrooms in the schools. So one of our struggles is that we have not been able to pass a bond or override in many, 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 many years, and we struggle because of that. One of the things that I was fortunate to have happen as I came into my position is we had some outside help that we were getting from the school facilities board. So the school facilities board is there to assist, and you apply for funding, and then they offset projects. It takes a very long time, because there's a lot of steps to go through and a lot of different things that have to happen in the process. But we were fortunate to have somebody that had worked in the school district previously come back and offer to help teach us what that process was. Because for years, when we would go out for an override or talk about a bond, that would be something that someone inevitably in the audience would remind us, is that how come nobody's using the school facility board money? So we've been very lucky to get projects moving. If you drive by the high school right now, you may recognize, but there's beautiful painting being done. And there's teams of guys that work Wednesday through Sunday and then take Monday, Tuesday off, so that their days off are more when kids are at school. But they're there painting, and it's making such a difference. It's just put a smile back on kids' faces, because it's like painting a room at your house. It makes you feel good and makes you feel like someone's taking care of you. So it's really given us the facelift that we needed to be positive this year. So these are the projects that have happened currently. So we've replaced water gallon heaters, we've replaced carpet, we've replaced sidewalks, we've replaced HVACs. And then these are the bigger projects that are going on right now. So there's the weatherization and roofing project at the high school. So the weatherization, they come through before they even begin to paint. They seal all the windows, they fix all the doors, they seal all the stucco on the building. So it also helps us with our energy bills later when that's done, because now things are sealed back up. So we have the weatherization going right now at the high school, and they're getting ready to start working on the roofing. And then we are also working at Cactus Canyon to replace bleachers and gym floors. So those have been a big thing with the community, that the bleachers don't feel safe. They've been there for a long time. So we were happy to see that SFB was going to help us with that project. From the state. So the state gives the facility board so much money, and then the facility board has a board that sits and sees those requests and then decides which projects they're going to fund. It's statewide. Yes, yeah. And you got to make sure your paperwork's right, everything's in line, or they send you back again. Oh, I'm supposed to be repeating the question. I'm sorry.
Hold on, Liz. Hold on, Les.
From, looking at the way all this, it's all facility related. And I'm assuming that is exactly what that funding is for. But where is the funding that will help facilitate the hiring of more teachers, ensuring that retention is there, future planning, because as we all know, we are going to be having a housing boom coming in. Is there a strategic plan for the future?
So that's always one of the concerns that we have and that we talk about, because typically school districts get funding from the community in which they are in. And so that comes from those bonds and overrides. And so for us, that's been the struggle. So we have long-term goals, but we typically are making sure we're doing what we need to do to survive the year and make sure we're in a good place when the year's over. The governing board has really spent a great deal of time and really pushing to try to get our salaries up, and so that our teacher salaries have finally gotten to a place where they're more competitive right now. So that's helped. So it's like an ongoing conversation we just always are having. Do we want to, you'll see in this presentation. So, for example, the construction phase at the high school costs $1.3 million. That came from SFB. And for us, we had to pay $153,000. So as these projects come up, there's still going to be a portion for us. So what I try to remind people in the community, the staff, the parents, is that we are getting a lot of help from School Facilities Board, and they're helping us do things we could have never done. But those pieces that we have to pay for are really going to become a burden at some point, because we don't have additional money coming in. So what it means for us is that when we get our capital funding from the state for the new school year, we have to be really tight on how we're going to spend that. And so what I've started to do with the departments is each department typically gets their own budget. And they get a budget from the big pot, and then they manage their budget, and they have to do the things they need to do within their budget. What we've talked about doing for next year is sitting together more as directors and listening to what each department needs, and then kind of putting things in a hierarchy of where we're going to spend the money. Because if we don't keep going with these projects as they're being funded, we're going to lose that funding. And once we lose it, they're not going to loop back around and give it back to us. So we have a big roofing project going on at the high school that's going to really take a toll on the capital budget of the school district. So where can we manage and budget so that we have money there that we can afford them. These are the roofing projects that are going on. And then just a culmination that we've had approximately 7 completed projects. We have 12 current projects going on. So we've been awarded approximately $7.1 million, and we have had to pay from our pot of money about $753,000. So opportunities and challenges for the school district. So, you know, I asked a lot of different people about this today in my travels. What are the opportunities we have? What are the challenges? And ironically, we kept coming back to saying the same thing. We're small. That's a great opportunity, because when you come to work for us, people, they know who you are. You get to be a part of different things. You're not battling as many people for positions or leadership spots that you might want, but that's also a hard thing for us because we're small. So we're small and we're getting smaller. So the community is a great community. Part of what we sell to teachers is it's a beautiful place to live. You look out windows of the schools and you see the Superstition Mountains. You can hike on the weekends. But at the same time, that same thing is bringing there's lots of new builds going in and new homes being built, but the concern for us is who's buying them. Because if they're not families with children, it hurts us. And so unfortunately, we have schools that aren't full. And so we spend time thinking and working and trying to do things to figure out how can we fill the schools? How can we get more students in our schools? So those things that are good are also at the same time challenges.
As they build out that area south, are you going to try to fill the schools that you have now with those students before you build something new, or are you going to be building some stuff down there?
So there's different rules about building schools. Most of the time, the way you can build a school is to go out for a bond, and the community gives you the money to build the school through taxes. The other way to do it is to go to School Facilities Board and ask for that money to build schools. The challenge for us is going to be our schools that we have aren't full, so are they going to give us money to build a new school and a new development? So we're not giving up hope, because I feel like there's a story we can tell, and there's always hope that it's going to go our way. But what we're trying to do right now is make sure that when someone's going to buy a home and they come into the high school, that everybody in the front office remembers those are customers to us. We need to treat those people. They need to feel welcome. Regardless of what's going on or the day you're having, those are first impressions. And so we really talk to the office staff, we talk to the teachers, we talk to staff all over the district about what are we doing when people come to see us. And you know, part of painting has been a huge thing, because people drive by and there's schools miles down the road that are brand new and look nice, and ours don't look as good, so people like package and they go for what's on the outside of the package. And so we're trying to make sure that we're building up the package inside, but that we also look like to others a place that they would want to come. So we are looking currently at the buildings we have. Many of those buildings were built on state land, so they're weird situations because, for example, Thunder Mountain Middle School is built on state land, so we can't sell the building and we can't do anything different with the building. We can't rent the building to people. It was leased to us. It was given to us to build on, to build a school. So if we don't want it, we have to remove the school, which costs millions of dollars to take the school down. But even if we were to do that, we don't want to give the land back to the state, because who's going to buy the land? Probably a charter school. and then they're going to build a school that's bright and shiny and new, and then we lose people to that. So it's a balance, what to do with the buildings. We've been looking at things that we can do with Superstition Mountain Elementary School to get that up and going again, because that's like in the heart of the city. You know, there are kids that was one of the biggest walking schools. I think that we had 3 buses. Everybody else walked. Their parents walked to pick them up. Their moms picked them up. Their dads picked them up. So what can we do with that school to get that going again? Because coming down Ironwood to that is much easier for parents than having to go all the way to Peralta or take them to Desert Vista.
Where they're actually living to where the schools are.
Yes, so transportation will have to increase based on the schooling. One of the things we tried really hard to do this year is we have 3 elementary schools. Peralta isn't as full right now, but one of the things we wanted to do was to try to get everybody back on the same start and end time for many different reasons. It's hard for a kindergartner to go to school at 9 o'clock. They've been up, most of them, for 3 hours, are ready to, have some downtime, and we're like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Your day's beginning. The other piece of it is that when we are fortunate to get release time on Wednesdays to do professional development, to make the teachers, build the leaders. And so to have everybody together at the same time would really be a great opportunity. But in order to do that, we needed 10 more buses and more bus drivers. So we just couldn't do it. So last night, we took to the governing board, and Four Peaks Elementary School, which has been the late start for a very long time, they will now be on the same start as Desert Vista, and Peralta will be the late start school.
Four Peaks is the elementary school that's right down Idaho here, just north of the city. Desert Vista is the one next to the old Thunder Mountain up on Goldfield and Broadway, and then Peralta is out in Gold Canyon.
And I have to say, too, that like Al talked about tonight, one of the wonderful things about working here at the school district is that we really have a good relationship with the city, with Parks and Rec, with fire, and with police. And so that really makes a difference in everything we do, whether it's getting help with activities from Parks and Rec, whether it's, having to call one of the officers to come help us with something, or just be there to help us figure something out. But feeling like you have those friendships and those relationships really makes a difference.
So there is a formal intergovernmental agreement between the city of Apache Junction and the Apache Junction Unified School District for cross-promotion, for use of shared facilities, Superstition Shadows Park and the pool out there. I'm sure Jamie can mention that when she gets up here and talks about parks. Things like that we share between the city and the school district, which is a great way of sharing resources and not having to duplicate, and it's a little more efficient, and a lot of other reasons. Other questions? Lisa.
If I recall correctly, whenever we were talking about the new development that was going in, certain specific amounts for the sale of each home was to go to certain things. Parks, however, some of that funding should be going to our schools too, correct?
It actually doesn't go directly. It goes to the infrastructure that you need for that. So there will be space set aside for parks, space set aside for the police substation, and space set aside for a school. And so yes, so that money does go to that. Like I said, it's a little complicated. It doesn't directly go like that. Like your property tax goes directly to the school district. Their property taxes will go to the school district, so that still works the same way. But yes, so those districts are mainly those fees are going for the infrastructure for those things. It's not exactly for those. in that way. So it's a little bit more complicated than just,
There are
wondering.
fees that each builder pays the school district per house. So we negotiate that. We'd been being paid $200 a home. So when that neighborhood went up over on Goldfield, that's what we had been getting at the time, was 200. When we talked to neighboring districts, they were getting $1,000 per home. So we went back and kind of went back and forth with the builder, because the builders have to pay something. And so we got it up to 500. So we kind of went back and forth. So for us, it was a little bigger of a win. Did we wish it was more? We did, but some of that helps too. You know, anything we get helps. So it is nice to have that with the bills that are going in.
that's why a lot of those infill projects that we're doing in the city are important, because they don't just, grow our numbers, they also can support the other things that are going on.
Exactly, the sharing of facilities and resources between the city and
Yeah.
the school system is beneficial for both, simply because, city-wise, we don't want buildings sitting there without any use, because we know they tend to decay more, which is going to cost more in facilities upkeep. So if the school can use it, that's great,
Right.
and vice versa.
Right.
So yeah, that intergovernmental agreement is great. I was, like the superintendent, I would have hoped for more than 5.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I brought it up.
Yeah, so that's what's happened at Thunder Mountain. At Thunder Mountain,
Right.
the fire district has been using
Right,
that
right.
facility for some time.
Right. So last night, one of the other things that we took to the school board was that we've had kind of a continuous rolling of PR people, public relations people. And so this year, the director that we had left maybe around January. And so we went back and found a previous public relations person that had been working with us. She writes fabulous stories and fabulous articles, and she really started getting things amped up for us again. But what we talked about last night at the school board meeting is that that's her skill. Her skill is writing. She writes great articles. She makes me look really smart when she writes about me. But what are young families looking for homes and schools looking at right now? People don't read the newspaper that much anymore. They don't have, so we need somebody who can take pictures and make videos and be on social media and really pushing things out there. If you look at our website, we don't have a lot of true students on there. We have just pictures that we've taken, maybe for some reasons for safety, but there's just ways to take pictures that want people to come in and look. And we need to be able to post things and be putting things out there that make people want to look at us. And so we're going to go back out and try a different route and keep Mrs. Marks, who's writing those wonderful stories. And if you saw the Superstition Living magazine that came out just recently, it's a red cover, I think it was April's. She got us all through there and really was able to spread the word about the good things are happening. But this other person will be able to just be out on social media, out at events, out at sports, and just bringing things back so that people are looking that way.
I just have a comment. So I'm part of the Superstition Mountain Rotary. I saw you today. I need to get you scheduled in. But it was this time last year, we did a week of service, and we painted the railings. The Rotary contributed the paint to redo the railings. And the football coach made all those high school football players show up. I saw no phones. They were so respectful, and they worked their butt off. I think we're painting this weekend, some parking lot stuff.
Yeah.
So my question is, again, the social media, we posted that on Rotary, everybody loved it. So I see that need, but number 2, are you going to keep that coach around? He seems to be making a big difference.
We love Coach Binkley. He has made a difference. He's winning football games, which makes high school a happy place. I'm married to a football coach, so I did not attend many of our own games because I was always going around with my husband on Friday nights. But this year in my role as superintendent, I was at all the games, and it's that, I told somebody that the other day when she said, "Why should we work for you?" And I said, "Well, you just told me like football, so you're not going to get better Friday night lights than here, And so we are going to keep him around. He's working those kids hard this summer, and they are going to win that state championship. They feel very confident about that, and we appreciate the work that you're doing, that Rotary's doing, and they'll be out there Monday doing that again with Rotary, so they're excited.
High school football is a lot of fun on
Yeah.
Friday nights at Apache Junction High. I've been there. Okay, any other questions? Ladies and gentlemen, the superintendent of the Apache Junction Unified School District, Heather Wallace. Okay. Right one there, Miss Jamie? Yep.
I'm just gonna come on up and introduce myself. I'm not gonna wait for Al to do it,
Well,
and I'll do a better job anyway.
oh, see? There you go.
I like little kid with my backpack.
I was going to say these glowing things about the most fabulous parks department in the land, because if any of you know, I've worked in this market for 150 years, so I've gotten a chance to meet a lot of folks from a lot of different cities, a lot of different jurisdictions. Universally, when I came here 6 years ago, they said, "You're going to the best parks and recreation department in the valley." And that's saying a lot, because there's a lot of really good places. And Apache Junction isn't the biggest city, and it's not, the richest city, as we know. But universally, this is an award-winning department, and it has some of the best people, including the recreation superintendent, who is fabulous, and she will tell you, she's homegrown. She's only 25 years old, but has worked for 20 years for the city or something crazy like that, but she'll tell you about that. So the recreation superintendent, Jamie Sullivan.
Thank you. To those that are online, welcome. I have a very high-pitched voice anyways. So whether you're here because you are court mandated to be here, maybe you chose to be here, maybe you think that someday you want to run for council or be on a Parks and Rec commission, please remember that 76% of Americans will vote for those that think that Parks and Recreation is important. So that right there can be your platform. You're welcome. You're welcome for that tip. So I am the superintendent. My boss, Liz Langenbach, is the director. She is out, shaking hands and kissing babies and hopefully collecting a fat check from the Lost Dutchman Marathon in sponsorship money, so or in donations for our scholarship. So she's not here because she's out doing her job too. So Parks and Recreation, she is our director. I am the recreation superintendent. I am homegrown. Thank you to the Apache Junction School District for this education right here. I love my town. I am very proud of AJ. People ask me, what describe AJ? And how many of you guys watch Sweet Magnolia? It's a Netflix. Nope, nobody. Okay, you won't understand the joke. So we're just gonna keep going on. Okay, so I'm the recreation superintendent. We have a recreation side. We have all kinds of good stuff, and we have coordinators under me that manage all of our big events, programs, and whatnot. And then we have our parks division. And our parks division is broken up into our south team, our north team, and our rangers. And then we also have an admin team. Carol serves on our admin team. She might be one that was forced to be here. I don't know. Maybe? Okay. All right. I love what I do, so I'm just going to apologize now for sounding like a kid that has ADHD and was given candy and a soda right before they came on, because I'm passionate about what I do. Parks and Recreation, one of our mission statement, you can find it on our webpage. I can't tell you what it is, but I know that it is about creating diverse, quality programs for people to play, to have parks that are clean, that are safe, to have programs, and people that love their job and love what they do. So our Parks Division, we have over 2,000 acres of open space and parks. How many of you been to one of our parks? Any of you been to one in the last month? 3 out of 4 Americans visit a park at least once a month. So if you raised your hand, good for you. Thank you for being a statistic. We need those. This is just a list of our parks. Hopefully this works. In 1980, one of our first parks was Prospector Park. Prospector Park is on BLM land, meaning we can't have commercial activity out there. So people want to know, how come you don't have rodeos every weekend? How come you don't have Country Thunder out here? Well, BLM is very protective of their land, and they don't want us out there selling it off in pieces or turning it for a profit or allowing others to turn it for a profit. We are working on being able to maybe use the rodeo grounds for a little bit more of that action. But for right now, any of our property that is on BLM land cannot be used for profit. And we have several properties that are on BLM land. Our newest park hasn't opened yet. Anybody know what it is? Carol can answer. Does anybody know the name? It's the Dutchman Dog Park. So we are excited about the Dutchman Dog Park. In 2005, we opened the Multi-Generational Center. I was fortunate enough to be the facility manager of that location for 12 years. And I'm always so surprised, not so much anymore, but people are like, for such a small community, you have such an amazing rec center. You have amazing libraries. You have amazing parks. And that is because our citizens, our voters, and our city management takes pride in having those things. So because of all of that, that's why we're able to have all of these nice things. But Prospector Park has a full softball complex. We have Flatiron Park is one of our newest parks. It has a splash pad. It's very small. It was not intended to be the Queen Creek or Gilbert size splash pads that you have. It was also intended to be a small neighborhood park. And so I'm on my soapbox to kind of answer some of the questions that might come. Yes, we have outgrown it. Yes, parking can be a problem. Our events have grown since before COVID. Then COVID hit, and we thought that we would trickle back into things. That is not the case. We have exploded at the seams, and we could have never anticipated that. So Flatiron was really meant for your concerts and your movies and your small art festivals. We were not expecting a 5,000-person Halloween event. So we'll be growing those and finding the proper places to be able to continue to have them. As construction and buildings come in, we're going to even lose even more of the parking spaces we have. We're aware of that. Again, Flatiron was a land swap. Does anybody know what was actually there before we built a park? A couple of apartment buildings that weren't livable for many years, and they were a huge eyesore. So I will take my Flatiron downtown community park any day over those old abandoned apartments. So, dog park. We are not open yet. Please don't tell people we're open yet. They're trying to get in. They're trying to walk their dogs. It is not ready. It looks beautiful. It looks ready. There is no signage yet. There are still gaps in the fences that need to be fixed. There are still light poles that need to be constructed. So while it looks like we should be opening the doors and letting everyone in, we're not quite yet there. But we're thinking that we will be there the end of this month. So follow our Facebook, our website. I did put information in your bags on information on the dog park. The dog park is another land, like, that's on Pinal County. Does anybody know what was in that spot before the dog park? It's a ditch. Yes, a very long time ago. It became a water retention basin. So when it rained, it became a duck park. And the ducks and the frogs and the mosquitoes, they would come and they would have this wonderful park until it all dried up. And then I don't know where they go, but they go somewhere. So in order to fix that problem, because it wasn't pretty, it wasn't swans, and it wasn't like you could go fishing there. It just filled up with dirty water, and it sat there until the sun dried it up. And sometimes it took a couple of days. So Pinal County, we needed a dog park. They needed to do something. And through a partnership, we were able to create something that had been asked by our community since 1992. Everything that we have done has been with the intention and with the support of our community. I cannot tell you how many planning meetings I have to go to, citizen focus groups I have to go to, so I can listen to the community tell us what they need. Our skate park was built by skaters. We brought the kids in and we said, what do you want? What would be cool for you? Because no 45-year-old, unless you're Ethan Hawke, I don't know what his name is. I don't know skater names. Tony Hawk, thank you. Unless you're Tony Hawk, you're not going to be able to build those kids a skate park they care about. So same thing, dog park. We brought in dog people. We listened. We said, what do you want? What's important to you? So that's what we did. Now, some things are really important to some people, and they're not really important to others, and we try to mediate that. But at the end, we think that we have a really good product that the community is going to love. The recreation division. It's really hard for me to talk about parks when I'm in recreation, but they've won a lot of awards for their parks, state awards, rural awards, national awards, whatever, but we have a great parks team. But recreation is where I shine. So yes, this is our city manager. He got in the pool and he delivered a manager's minute from the pool, and then he did a cannonball off of the diving board. He got like a ridiculous amount of views and likes and shares on Facebook. I've been doing this for a really long time. I'm lucky if I get 10. He jumps in a suit in the pool and everybody gets excited. So I'm doing something wrong, but yes, Brian is very, very supportive of Parks and Recreation. So I already talked a little bit about the Multi-Gen Center. We were built in 2005. There's some cleanup we need to do, some maintenance we need to do. We're getting a brand new, huge, like ridiculous, they had to build it, air conditioner that needs to go on top of our gymnasium. We're super excited that that is getting done. But for the most part, if you walked into that building, you would think it's only a couple of years old. So we maintain it very well. We have our senior services are inside. We serve a daily hot lunch to our seniors and anybody that is disabled. It is a contribution. It's a suggested contribution. So if you have $0, you have $0. We provide transportation to the center for the folks who can't get there. So as long as you live in AJ, we can get you to a hot meal Monday through Friday. We also have a workout center, so if you're paying big bucks somewhere else, or maybe you're not paying big bucks, but you're looking for customer service and yoga classes and something that's close to home, we have membership packages. We have family membership packages. We have climbing walls. We have basketball. We have pickleball. Sometimes they don't all get along, but we have so much going on inside that center. In your bags, there's a packet that has all of that. So, talked a little bit about our fitness area. I want to say we have at least 35 different classes offered a week. Just the fitness classes. That doesn't include all the others. You purchase a membership that gives you access to 35, 40 different types of classes that we have. This is John. I haven't seen John in a couple of months, so I don't know if he's moved or whatnot, but John has been a member with us since almost day one. And these kids are probably now in college. I did update photos a little bit, but sometimes I like to leave them because it reminds me of we grow kids in our community and then they come work for us. We have a variety of special interest classes, from art classes to education classes, line dancing, belly dancing, crocheting. Some of them are at no cost and some of them there is a charge, but we can meet pretty much all financial levels to be able to participate. There's our senior programs. I did update these photos. We love our seniors. So JJ runs our senior programs as well as our youth programs. So he gets all the ages. But we do once a month. We have birthday parties. And when we had to, at first we thought we were going to have to make some tough decisions when we took over senior services a couple years ago. And this doesn't look good on me, but I'm going to tell you anyways, but because it makes my staff look amazing. And I said, you know, they're like, well, we do these birthday parties and we give birthday presents. And I was like, well, guys, I don't know that we can afford that. I don't know that we can afford to give these folks birthday presents. And it's like 6 people a month, right? I didn't know what they gave for birthday presents, but they give them dish soap and paper towels and toilet paper and doilies, and these are things they get excited for. I'm like, this is what they get as gifts? We did find sponsors, and we have donors now that donate to be able to give to those. It wasn't that hit me. I was still thinking, well, you know, I mean, budget is budget. It was literally, it was standing up behind the kind of a closed door, and this lady came up, and she asked to see JJ. So JJ walked up there. I get a little choked up. So JJ walks up there, and he goes, well, how can I help you? And she goes, I wasn't here last week for the birthday celebration, and I was just wondering if I could pick up my gift. And I'm thinking, they come for the gifts. And then she's just like, I'm 88 years old, and I live at home by myself, and you guys are the only ones who celebrate my birthday. I'm like, where's my checkbook? What do they need? How much do you need? Let me know. I will figure it out, because that just resonated that we are people's families. We're not just providing a service. We are their families. Our aquatics pool, so we're getting ready to open our pool. We are very lucky this summer that we are able to open it. We are not able to open it at 100% capacity. Does anybody know why? This is very interactive. Anybody know why? Lifeguards. Staff. It's staffing. It's not COVID. It is a national problem. It's not an AJ problem. It's not a state problem. Phoenix needed to hire 600 lifeguards. They're at about 250 right now. So we are not alone in this shortage. And we don't know why that is. We don't know if younger kids are not getting jobs. We don't know if they're not getting jobs as lifeguards because they're already working. Maybe they don't need seasonal, they need year-round. It does require training. These are the kids that are out there making sure other kids make it through the summer. So they have to take extensive training. And so we've created some incentive programs. We've been able to hire more this year than we have last year, which is a bonus. But we probably will not be open 7 days a week. But we will be open. Swim lessons are our #1 priority, is to make sure that kids learn how to swim. And then our second priority is to make sure that kids have something to do on the weekends and with their families. And so we will have opening hours. We just don't know exactly what they're all going to look like. But we have a great pool. It's beautiful. It is. People go and they're, again, I didn't know AJ had this. And I was like, well, cross over Meridian once in a while. You would see we have a lot more than what you think we do. We do have a teen council. You can see at the bottom, this is mainly made up of high school students from AJ High School and Imagine Prep, our local high schools. They helped name Flatiron Park. They helped name the dog park. They were very influential in that. They do service projects year-round in helping the Parks and Rec Department, as well as other nonprofits. They'll help with cleanup projects. They'll help. We did a suicide walk with the high school one year. So they're very involved in the community, trying to learn what it means to be a part of government in the community. We have summer programs. We have field trips. We have sports programs. We have adult sports. We have youth sports, pickleball, golf, basketball. We're in men's basketball season right now. Summer will turn to our youth basketball. We're going to try to do a cornhole tournament this fall, so that will be new for us. And I will say, Parks and Recreation used to be very sports. That's where everybody thought about Parks and Recreation is sports, sports, sports. It really isn't. Sports is on the declining while everything else is going up. Parks are super important. That free leisure time. I want my own time. I want my own space. Your special interest, your education classes, your community rec centers, your wellness, fitness types of programs, those are on the rise. It's hard, just like the school said, it's hard to keep kids interested in sports once they've hit past 3rd or 4th grade. They have it ingrained that if they're not going to club or if they're not going to the Diamondbacks by the time they hit 8th grade, they're just going to quit now. And that's so harsh and so disheartening to hear that. Sports is lifetime. Like, I mean, you should be playing sports and we do have amazing pickleball players. They've got it figured out. They're 80 years old playing pickleball. I mean, it's crazy. So we're trying to fill that gap and to help remind parents just as much as the kids that they need to stay active. They need to stay in those sports programs and find outlets for themselves. Special events is my favorite. I cannot say that there's no prouder moment than 4th of July when it is 117 degrees outside and you have been working for 12 hours and you see all these kids that have red-stained faces and watermelon seeds sticking to their face, running around with their diaper and their sunglasses, mom chasing them, grandma chasing the mom, and you're like, this is home. This is exactly why we do this. You have the politicians and your council members. They're out there sweating just like everyone else, shaking hands. And I get to see all my old high school teachers and elementary school teachers. I just saw Dr. Nine, an hour before I walked in here. But special events is what community is. It what brings us together. And when the school district is talking about remembering that every single person is a customer, I don't know how to stop them, but Mesa, Gilbert, Santan, guess where they're going when they want to see dinosaurs, when they want to hunt Easter eggs, when they want to see fireworks? They're coming here. And they're going to realize that they're going to get tired of driving. So I'm okay with gas prices are going up. If it moves a few more people, it'll be like, we drive to AJ every weekend because every weekend we have something going on. They're coming to AJ because we put on stellar events that our community should absolutely be proud of. Facility reservations, you can also reserve the dog park. So the dog park is broken up into 3 areas. We have one very small section that will be used for programming and events and also private reservations. So if your pooch does not get along well with others, for $8 an hour, if you're an AJ resident, you can reserve out your space and bring your dog and they can have their own little dog park. Or maybe you want to do a pet party. But we also have, that's my little tangent because dog park's coming up, but you can rent parks, you can rent ramadas. If you got a horse that needs a little practice time, maybe you don't have a dog, but you got a horse and it doesn't get along well with other horses. You can rent rodeo time and bring them out there and work with them and all that great stuff. Come work for us if you want to. You also take volunteers, so Parks and Recreation. We used to be one of the biggest employers for youth. So we used to hire a lot of our high school kids, but now I don't know that that's necessarily the case. We have Walmart now here, and we have a lot of fast food restaurants we didn't used to have, so I think we've lost some of them. But like I said, I started in Parks and Recreation, when I was 16 years old. Every coordinator that I have has been with us for 8 or more years, and most of them been a coordinator for 8 years, but they've been with the city for more than 20 years. We have amazing tenure. We have amazing retention of our staff, and it's because they grew up here, and so we're invested in this community. Volunteer opportunities, junior guards, we start at 11, but we'll take one-off volunteers. You want to come out, you just want to do an event, you want to do cleanup projects, if you want to come serve lunch for the seniors or call bingo, if you've got a strong calling out there, I'm sure that we can fill it. And I'm glad I got to go before the library to poach any volunteers. So, that's it. Like, dude, I was good. I was good. I probably left out so much, but okay, questions.
Well, I don't have a question. I just want to say I love the multi-gen. And when you guys, you opened 2005? Mm-hmm. So it was probably about 2009, 2010. I volunteered for quite a while serving meals.
So you volunteered with EVAR under
Yep.
Terry.
Yep, yes, yes, yes,
Yep,
yes.
yep.
So that was a great experience, and you guys have really good meals, too.
Thank you. Thank you.
D.
I love you. And I always love how passionate you are. And if anyone's thinking about volunteering, it's easy. So if you want to do a one-off event, you want to do regular things, it's fun. Nothing against the library. I know we always have competitions, but
Just a
libraries are fun too. But there's all kinds of events. Jamie's really great, and our team is really great about putting that on Facebook. So if you don't follow that, also if you go to the city site, you can put that you get reminders. So I have that set up so that way I stay in the loop of different like city council meetings, but also just events, because they're literally, when she says there's something every weekend,
There really is.
there really is. If there's not a parks event, there's a library event. So our community is amazing. So just stay involved and stay in the know.
So great point. So how do you find out about what we're doing? So we are on Facebook. We're super active on Facebook. The median age for that is women between 30 and 50. So we're hitting that demographic really good on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. The website she's talking about is, if you go to the Apache Junction website, there won't be any good things that flash up there. If you go to the Apache Junction website, there's at the bottom, there's a calendar, and it's got, the library puts everything on there. I think they put their lunch breaks on there. But so, and then Parks and Rec and the city council. So if you subscribe to the calendar, you'll get a pop-up that says, hey, we have a great Easter egg hunt coming up, and then you can click here for more details. So you guys are here because you're invested in wanting to be a part of the community. That's the number one thing. You guys got to get on those notifications so you know what's going on. And then we also have a really good website. We try to stay up on it and stay making sure it's up to date. Right now, tons of information on the dog park is on there because that's what everybody's asking. So that, and then you can come in, walk into the building, and we're a walking billboard. So we got flyers. We have stuff all over the walls in cool sorts of ways telling you what's going on. We do love the library. We are right in the same parking lot. It's not like Parks and Rec sitcom. We do have a very good, healthy relationship with the library. Actually, some of my employees that I trained now work for the library doing Parks and Rec activities. Any other questions? That's 5. Come on, you guys had questions for the school.
Okay, good. Thanks, thanks, Natalie.
Get my feelings hurt.
Well, I'll ask the question. So I'm just starting to explore the parks. You brought up the safety issue. Me as a single person, I go up to Boyce Arboretum for my big long walk because I know they're watching everything or people have to pay a price. The other day, I was with a friend that's a veteran in town, and just in the parking lot between, right next to the AJ, we wanted to go to the veteran park that's right there.
Where the gazebo is?
And don't want to bring up a bad subject,
No,
but
it's
a
okay.
homeless person
Yes.
sitting there. And I was with a veteran that wanted to get off his bike and pay homage to whoever is recognized there. And he's like, nope, we're not going there. So I hate to bring up that
No,
subject, and that's right next to the police station. So I'm afraid to go myself. I agree, Prospector Park looks beautiful, but I'm like, I don't think I need to be going out there yet. I don't know. By myself to take a walk, so I'm driving half an hour to Boyce Arboretum. So I'm just bringing up, this
No.
literally was this week with the veteran thing. I wanted to see who was
It's
recognized
a very
there.
fair, and we do get that question because our parks are open. They're not all gated. They're not going to be policed all of the time. I will say that at all of our parks, there is signage where if you see something, you say something, you feel uncomfortable. There are no rules, though. There are no laws about I simply feel uncomfortable because of. But I understand the perception that you're talking about. We do have a very healthy ranger program, and not all cities are lucky enough to have that. They solely have to rely on their police department to respond to calls. Our rangers are under Parks and Recreation, so that is what, they do help out animal control when they need it, but that's their main focus, is our parks. So we do have them on patrol. But some of our parks sit right next to the soup kitchens, the food box banks, the shower places, and so if they're camping, if you notice, and this is for everybody, if you go to a park and somebody is sprawled out and all their stuff is everywhere and they've obviously staked claim, that there is something that could be done about that. Like, they're camping now in our park. But just sitting, enjoying the park, like you perhaps would sit and enjoy the park, there is nothing that would account for us to do anything about that. But does it contribute to maybe your perception of feeling safe in that park? Absolutely, and I completely understand that. So Flatiron Park, we've had that also about Flatiron Park. You know, like people would be like, they're gonna take showers in the splash pad and they're gonna, you know, take a bath out there. I think maybe it's happened on occasion in 5 years, but do they take respite there from, you know, their drinking fountains, their shade there, so yes, they may take respite there, but at any time, if there's a reason for you to feel unsafe, there are numbers at the parks. If you don't want to get out of your car to go find that number, go to the website. Our phone number's on the website. If you have any issues, call. And even if it's a suspicion, if the rangers are on or if they're close by, they don't need a reason to come drive by. So. Yeah, so the multi-gen center, if you want to walk inside, especially when it's 117, we do have an indoor walking track. You do have to pay the fee, but there is an indoor walking track there, so. Yeah.
Can I ask her a question? What was it that made you uncomfortable with the gentleman over there? But I mean, like, did he think about approaching the gentleman and like saying? No, not to help him, just to approach and say, hey, I'm a veteran, I'm here to. Okay, that's.
And sometimes it's very visual. They'll be waving their hands, they'll be talking. We've had some folks, and not necessarily in our parks, I work in this facility. So we'll hear them, and you know, the language that they're using isn't appropriate, and it's loud and whatnot. And so
I think in particular, my friend's a veteran, so he felt it was disrespectful, that's all.
because he wanted to go to the Veterans Park and pay respect. Yes. And actually, at the Veterans Gazebo, they just installed a brand new, beautiful plaque paying tribute to 9/11, and it is worth getting out. Like, yeah, go back. That's all I gotta say is go back. Yeah. Nope, that's a very fair perception. Yeah. Anything else?
Everybody a member of the MGC? D is. Who else? Well, I'm sure Jamie will sign you right up.
Yep, and if you qualify for a participating health insurance incentive program such as Silver Sneakers, Silver and Fit, or Renew Active, you can get yourself a free membership.
That's right.
There's my commercial.
That's right. And of course, if you work for the city, you also get.
It's your supplemental.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, very inexpensive.
I went there the first time yesterday for a line dancing class.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Oh, very good.
Thank you
All
guys
right,
for your time.
Jamie Sullivan, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're doing good. So let's take a 5-minute break, bathroom break, and we'll set up for our final presentation of the night. police chief is likely leaving, but you know who's second?
Not until they do me. As soon as they put me up there, you're going down.
Yeah, that's probably true. You're a lot better looking
But
than
I
that.
don't think police should count.
Is that the one where he's holding the puppy? It's so cute.
No, that was cute too.
That was so cute.
I know.
I was like, which is cuter?
I think you got adopted, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
So,
It got adopted that day.
yeah. Yeah, those are super cute dogs. Yeah, that's the way to get people to like your page, just put a puppy in it.
I should have done my phone on the puppy.
Was it about a dog?
No.
That's okay.
Well, thanks for doing a phone. I didn't hear you were on the list, so that's awesome.
I better got a big cut.
No.
Oh, yeah.
She wants to say you.
Hey, if you get cut out, that's good for me. Okay. Is everybody back? Are we ready to go? Okay. One more presentation to go. I always mean to do this, and I've forgotten to do it, I think, the last couple times. And I have mentioned to you, if you have not gone to the city's website somewhere along the line of this class, please do so, because I really would love for you to be very familiar with how and what and where things are on the website. I should probably do a quiz and say, find me, this information from the website, because it's very important. So if you haven't been there, this is what it looks like. Homepage with lots of stuff right off the bat. Suggestions and concerns, you know what that is? Does anybody know? We call it request tracker, but it's essentially an online suggestion box. If you see something or you want to report something, you can do that, and you can even do it anonymously through there. Looking for a job, there's a library, all kinds of fun stuff. This is where we had been putting all of our COVID information right from the beginning, because of course that was key. And then this is what we call the news carousel. All the news releases, all the stories that I write that get written from things throughout the city, they end up here. So this one is the one I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. But you can see about the new police chief and park stuff and the dog park, and everything is on there. But this one is important. As I have alluded to probably more than once in the last couple of sessions, and now it is official, we've had 2 council members resign in the last month or so, both to run for different offices. And the state law requires them to resign from their current elected position to run for another one. So we have 2 council vacancies. We normally would have 7 behind me. You'll see there are 2 nameplates missing. So if you go to the website and you click on council vacancies, it tells you what happens now. Now until April the 29th, you go to the city website to the boards page, apachejunction.az.gov/boards, and you will go and see that there is a place there to apply for the city council. And there it is. And the requirements are, you have to be a resident of the city for at least a year, and you have to be 18 years old. Those are the only requirements. You can apply through the link there on that board page, and the plan is for the city council to, first for the city to take applications through April 29th. We will go through those applications, and then on May the 16th work session, we will interview the candidates for city council. And hopefully on May 17th, the night after that, we will actually appoint the 2 interim council members, if you will, because of course both of those terms were in process. They weren't even halfway through their terms. All the details are right there, so you can go and look at that if you want to take a look at that or pass it along to your favorite people. But I do remind everybody to please go to the city website, because it is important to know everything city-wise. All right. Now then, we have with us for our final presentation one of our newest directors, I guess. I'm trying to think. There's a couple more newer since then. Chief Police new, and IT Director's Police new. But we have a fabulous library director. We had a long-time library director And so it is really cool to have Pam Harrison now running our library. She comes to us with almost a quarter century of library experience, almost 25 years. Starting in North Carolina, had been with the Maricopa County Library System for quite a while, and has been with us for 8 years, 7 years, something like that, and going on 8. But in 2020 was appointed the new director of the Apache Junction Library, a fabulous library. Again, we're very lucky out here. How we ended up with fantastic parks and a fantastic library, I think higher level than the size of community we are, says a lot about the city, I think. So she's going to tell you all about things at the Biblioteca. Ladies and gentlemen, the library director of the Apache Junction Public Library, Pam Harrison.
Thank you very much. Your second blonde here. You're such a hard act to follow, Jamie. But we're going to start off with a video because I feel like if you haven't been to the library, you really need to see it to appreciate all that we have to offer. So this is a short video, I think it's about 7-8 minutes, to show you the different parts of the library, and then I'll do a really short PowerPoint and talk about some of the recent things that we're doing at the library, and then any questions you have. So enjoy the video. The front west entrance is the original entrance to the library off Idaho Road. Here you will also find the Media Bank machine, a self-service DVD and Blu-ray vending kiosk that is available 24/7 with your library card. Recently, a steel wall at this entrance was removed. This is what it used to look like. As you can see, the library exterior is now a much more inviting space. Inside the west entrance, you will find the Chapter 2 bookstore, which is comprised of public donations of gently used materials, such as books, DVDs, and jigsaw puzzles. The bookstore is operated entirely by volunteers of the Friends of the Library of Apache Junction, a 501c3 nonprofit organization organized in 1982 to provide funds to the library for literacy projects and programs. Further monetary support for the library also comes from the Engraved Tile Project at the south entrance to the library. The Job Center is a computer lab containing 16 computers with a presenter station, projector, and screen. It is still used for job searching and resume writing, as well as other technological programs for all ages. The Mountain View Room is the hub of the library. With a gorgeous view of the Superstition Mountains, the Mountain View Room is the perfect place to relax and read a good book. Walking the aisles, you can browse an array of materials, including books, audiobooks, DVDs, and more. Our newest resource is the Seed Library. The Seed Library is a collection of open pollinated and heirloom seeds that you can borrow to plant and grow at home. One of the most popular areas of the library is the Computer Lab, where we offer free access to computers and the internet. Printing, copying, faxing, and one-on-one help is also available. The study room is a new service and can be reserved for up to 6 people. It is used for meetings or a quiet place to work and study. Seating and workspace are also available just outside the Mountain View room. Further into the library is the North Wing, which houses adult fiction and nonfiction materials. If you walk to the back of the North Wing, you will be rewarded for your efforts by finding the Hidden Mystery Room, a cozy space to read a whodunit story by authors like James Patterson, C.J. Box, and David Baldacci. The North Wing Program Room was built in 2017 with a construction grant from the Arizona State Library. This room seats over 100 people and is used for meeting space and library programs. Teens ages 12 to 17 have their own dedicated area in the teen space. It contains computers, gaming systems, and popular young adult books. Children who pass through the magical arch of books are transported into a world of dragons, castles, fantasy, and characters like Harry Potter, Alice in Wonderland, and Robin Hood. What families experience in the children's area isn't just any time, it's once upon a time. A highlight for many children visiting the library is the castle, where kids can pretend to be a king, queen, knight, or princess. Imaginative play is an important part of healthy child development and building early literacy skills. The youth area provides space for family interaction and play, featuring a dollhouse, toy kitchen, puppet theater, and plenty of books. The Dragon's Den elaborates on the fairy tale theme and features children's technology and other learning activities. Just outside the youth area is the family courtyard, an enclosed playground and outdoor programming area, popular with families in the cooler months. A special collection of books, just about Arizona, are found in the Arizona Room. Some of these books are kept under lock and key due to their age, value, or delicate condition. A new service developed at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic is the drive-up window. By adding a transaction drawer and doorbell, this became an attractive way to conduct contactless library service and is still being used for drop-off and pickup of library materials. Another new service is the mobile library. To reach more people in Apache Junction, the mobile library visits local neighborhoods and community events to issue library cards and promote services we offer, such as free Wi-Fi hotspots. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll visit us at the Apache Junction Public Library soon. I'm sorry, some of the names got cut off on the bottom of that. Okay. I think this is me. Yep. Whoops. Okay. So just to give you some background on the Apache Junction Library, we are right around the corner on Idaho, right beside the MGC, or kind of in front of it, kind of behind it, depends on which way you're looking. We are open until 8 o'clock at night, Monday through Thursday, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. We are currently going through a strategic planning process, and we have collected surveys from the community over the past few weeks. We're really happy to say that we received nearly 600 surveys that we're going through right now with our consultant. I did get to look at a few of the comments along the way, and I did see a lot of people say, you need to be open more hours. And I'm like, we can't be open anymore. We're open to 8 o'clock, but I think what most people are saying is they would love for us to probably be open on Sundays. I think Sundays is a day that some people would love to have some leisure time in the library. So it's definitely something for us to consider. But currently, we are closed on Sunday and open Fridays and Saturdays from 9 to 5. So this is our mission statement and our vision. So we're striving to be a leader in the community, to provide a destination place for literacy, for entertainment, for learning, for connecting with one another. And I believe that we're always striving to meet those goals, and that the more that we work with our community, the sooner we're going to reach those. We are a 31,000 square foot building, and our physical collection is almost 100,000 items. So that includes everything from DVDs, audiobooks, everything that is in the building itself, not counting our digital collections, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Our total circulation for fiscal year 2020 to 21 was just over 450,000, which is down from previous years. For a couple reasons, most likely, or most obviously, of COVID, and also a lot more people are doing digital checkouts now than they're doing physical checkouts, so that can also have a bearing on our total circulation numbers. We do have a very strong community when it comes to checking out physical materials, though, because of our seasonal visitors, who often rely on us to get large print materials and audiobooks for those that are visually impaired. So we will always continue to have those products, but we do see that there is starting to be an increase in the amount of people that are accessing the digital products, especially with the rising gas prices. You can sit at home and get your free entertainment. In the last year, our patron visits have also gone down. During the peak season, we would normally have around 1,000 people a day on average, and this year it was about 750, which was expected, but we expect that to hopefully turn around and to rise back up in the next coming years, especially with the development in the South. So we do have an active library board, and they are an advisory type board to inform us on things that the community is looking for in their library and what direction we're going in. We have 7 members, and this year it turned out that all 7 of them are females, which the city attorney said he could not remember happening any time in recent history. So it's a lively board. We actually have Cheryl on our board currently, so we're happy to have her. She provides, as well as all the other people on the board, a different perspective on different things because of their backgrounds. So we have our next meeting tomorrow night, so make sure you stay tuned for the video coming out. Okay, so in your bag that I handed out, one of the brochures that's in there is about library services in general. So that includes how to get a library card, how many items you can check out on your library card at a time, how long they check out for, and of course, there's always some exceptions. But the general rule is that most books and audiobooks that are physical materials check out for three weeks. Movies, and yes, we do have video games, and some of our new print releases will check out for 7 days. We've been slowly changing some of these policies, though. Actually, video games now, and I should have remembered this to change it before I came tonight, they actually check out. They still check out for 7 days, but you can check out more at a time than you used to. One of the nice things that we do offer are automatic renewals. People are always like, well, how would I know when my items are due? Well, when you check out your materials, you're asked how you want to be notified when things are coming due, and we have the options of an automated phone call, an email, or a text message, and text message is becoming increasingly more popular. So you'll get messages 3 days before your items are due to remind you that things are coming due. But the wonderful thing about us now is that in 2020, we eliminated all of our late fines. So if you do get things back a couple days late, even a couple weeks late, there's going to be no penalty. We just try to remind our customers to be respectful to other people that might be trying to check out the same material and to get things back as timely as possible. There's also online access to your account where you can go in and you can place requests on materials, not only within our Pinal County Library District, which we're a part of, but also we offer free interlibrary loans, which means that you can get materials of print format that are at least a year or older from other libraries throughout the country. So we're part of a system that does that. A lot of libraries charge for that service, but we do offer it for free. So we often have people coming in with some older titles that we might not carry any longer, and we could get those from college libraries, other public libraries, and so forth. We have a couple different type of library cards. If you're an Apache Junction resident, if you're in the city limits, or you live in the, I always get this messed up. If you live in Maricopa County, but you're in the city limits, or you live in Pinal County, or if you go to school or have a business in Pinal County, you can get a full access library card. So what that gives you is 20 item checkouts at a time, and that does not include your digital checkouts. You can place up to 10 holds on other materials, and 6 interlibrary loans at a time. And then we do offer what's called an easy access card for people that don't meet the criteria for a full card. So during COVID, we actually did get a lot of people from Mesa coming to our library because they were closed for a period of time, and we were not. So we were really happy to be able to provide them with some services. Easy Access Card gives you 3 items to check out at a time. It also gives you full access to all of our digital products, which I'll go over in a few minutes. They can do 3 holds, and they get to also attend all of our programs. So it's a great service that we're able to do that for other people that are in town for a brief period of time, or if they're out of the county. So in the video, you saw the media bank machine. This is at the west entrance. It's basically a red box that is free. You use your library card, you scan your barcode, you use a touch screen to decide what movies you want to check out, and it dispenses it from the machine without you having to go inside the building. And it's available 24/7, and you can check out 5 of those items at a time. Culture Passes is another great service that we offer. Not all Pinal County libraries offer them, but we do, and we're proud to be able to give people free admissions to different museums and cultural organizations around the area. There's a list of those on our website, but they do include the Superstition Mountain Museum and the Desert Botanical Garden, to name the couple that are the most popular. We have a partnership with Act One Foundation from Phoenix that enables us to be able to offer that service. This is just an awful picture of our management team. Not saying that they're awful, or not saying that we're an awful management team, but just saying that I don't like pictures of myself, and I don't think they do either. But this is Tracy, our library manager, Trish Pelletier, who is our library supervisor, Penny Brumbaugh, our youth services supervisor, and myself. And before I became director, I was actually in Penny's position as the youth services supervisor. So that's why the picture of me doing story time with the kiddos in that one picture on the video. Vicki Durain is our adult services supervisor. She is really shy, but we'll show a picture of her next time. I'll make sure we get one. Events and programs. This is our bread and butter. This is what our community is always asking us more of. It's what our staff enjoy doing probably the most, is developing programs for all ages. We have a very healthy 0 to 5 population that comes into the library, and we provide them with what I think is exceptional programs to develop their early literacy skills. These are just a couple examples of some that we've done over past years. Stuff a Plush, which was actually a program I wanted to do before I became director, and I didn't get to do it. So my colleague Stephanie Green got to do it, and it's actually where you get the skin, what we call the skin of a stuffed animal, and that the kids get to stuff it like Build-A-Bear. But we always partner that with a literacy activity as well. So there was a book that was read prior to that, and then other skills incorporated into the program. For the 0 to 5 crowd, we also do what's called a Fun Van parenting education program. We've been doing this now for about 12 years. It is grant funded through First Things First with the state, and that's the Early Childhood Initiative that's paid through tobacco taxes. So this is a program that we have to apply for every 4 years, and we've been gracious enough to be able to receive it from Pinal County. It is a very intensive program where we have 7 educators that go into the community, not only in Apache Junction, but all over Pinal County. We travel as far away as Kearney, San Manuel, and Oracle to meet families up there that have children ages 0 to 5. The families get taught early literacy skills. They get taught best parenting practices. And the best part is that the kids get to go to the classes with the parents. They get to learn socialization skills with other kids their age. They enjoy story time, craft time, and every child gets a book at the end of each week. And the program goes for 11 weeks in a row. So at the end, they have 11 books to put into their library, which is so important because so many families today don't have a home library, and so that gives them that starting edge for that. We do lots of adult programs as well. Art in the Library is volunteer-led, and they have a very talented group that come in every Tuesday now at the library to practice their art and to share with other people in the group their artworks. Throughout the library, you'll also see artwork that's hung up that's done by the Arts Council and different people in the community. We have 3 or 4 different book clubs that happen monthly, a crochet club, a writer's club. We actually have a writer in residence right now who is an acclaimed author, Greg McNamee. And we have a new author coming up in the next month or 2 for the summertime. And with the Writer in Residence program, they do private consultations with the citizens that are interested to develop their writing skills, no matter if they're writing for kids or adults. And then he also does programs to teach different writing development skills. Pause to Read is one that is a program that I brought with me from Maricopa County. It is my favorite program because I am an animal lover. I have 3 dogs and a cat at home. One of the animals that had been coming since 2015 was this parrot that's in this picture. His name is Buddy. Buddy's owner will drive
once a month, every month from Gilbert to do this program, all on volunteer time, and they're part of an organization called Pause to Read. In addition, we also had a dog, a couple different dogs over the years, and you saw Patsy Swine, the pig. Unfortunately, Patsy Swine has passed away, and unfortunately, Buddy passed away last year as well. But he has other birds, and he's getting another bird therapy rated so they can do the program again. And then we do a lot for teens as well. We have a TAB group, which stands for Teen Advisory Board, similar to the Youth Advisory Council over at the Parks and MGC. Do I call it Parks and Rec MGC? I always get that messed up. Yeah. They do more internal advisory for the library for the teen area, but they're an important part of our planning. And they also enjoy lots of events throughout the year. And our Friends of the Library is so gracious, and they provide us with the funding for, I would say, 98% of our programs. When we ask them for supplies or we want to get a special speaker to come in, they're always so ready to help us out. So I just have to give a shout out to the FOL because we love you, and they're the ones that run the bookstore that is open whenever the library is open throughout the year. So yeah, we do over 1,300 events in person and remotely throughout the year. So the mobile library, you saw the picture of that in the video as well. She just got a new wrap on her, so you may have seen her before in the parking lot. She looked a little decrepit. It did say Fun Van on the side over the past 10 years, but now she is the mobile library, and we are making next steps to try to make this a library that is going to be running regular routes and stops throughout the community. So we're hoping to have that in place by the end of this year. But with the mobile library, we currently attend outreach events where we can check out materials, offer library cards, and just meet our community and do different activities with the kids or adults. Wi-Fi hotspots are something else that we check out now, and they're very popular, and we often have those on the mobile library when we're out and about. We make sure that we have those available for those people that cannot make it to the library. Books by Mail is another program that we have where we can mail large print materials to the homebound, and that's a program that we would love to build up more than we currently are because we know there's a need, and I think it's just getting that message out to the community about it. And then, as the video talked about, we have a drive-up window, and we also have a walk-up window, which isn't as used as much as nearly the drive-up window, but it is a different service where for ADA compliance. Digital services, my favorite. So we have so many different digital options that takes a couple minutes for me to talk about because there's so many, but these are all part of your library card, so if you have one and it's valid, you have access to all of these. Most of them have an app that you can download for your phone or tablet. Otherwise, some of them still do have a web-based version that you can get access from. So the Greater Phoenix Digital Library is a consortium that we belong to with other Phoenix metro area libraries. There's about 10 of us in the consortium, and we share basically a huge collection of materials, mostly ebooks and audiobooks, for you to download. It's also known as Overdrive, so you may have heard of Overdrive, but now they're trying to rebrand themselves more as Libby, which is the name of the app that you would get. There's also a new part of that app called Universal Class. Universal Class is courses, classes. You can actually get college credit for a lot of them on all different types of topics, everything from small hobbies to higher level computing skills. There's a little bit of everything in there for everybody, and I know Cheryl's well aware of it. It's been something we've been trying to really market, and as you brought up, it's hard to market, or I think, did you bring it up, or did Heather bring it up? It's hard to market in this area because we don't have a daily newspaper anymore. People don't read newspapers as much, so we really rely on that social media. Freegle is free music. You get 6 free downloads a week from a selection of music on the Freegle app. They have hundreds of thousands of songs, and from every different genre that you can think of, and you can download up to 6 per week, and you keep them forever. There's nothing to return. Cloud Library is another ebook and audiobook platform that has different offerings than the Greater Phoenix Digital Library that is popular. And Hoopla is a little bit of all of those together. Hoopla has a lot of video content. It has a great kids section, has lots of graphic content. Not graphic content, I meant graphic novel content. That didn't sound great. So it's one of the most popular ones, but it is one of the hardest ones because we do share that with the rest of Pinal County, and so there are limits on the amount of checkouts that can happen per day with that one, and we're trying to get some more funding so that we can have a bigger involvement with that. And Greater Phoenix Digital Library, too, I should point out, also has magazines, full text, full color magazines. You just click an arrow and it flips the page for you. All the big ones that you can think of, every magazine that you would probably subscribe to. We also have a couple specialty rooms in the library that weren't in the video yet. One of them is what we're calling the Creation Zone. It has a 3D printer, which was in one of the photos, a digitization station, which can convert your VHS to DVD, and also your MP3s to MP4s. I believe it also does like the old Super 8 tape or the reel-to-reel ones. It has a Cricut machine now in there that is ready to be used. It has, it had a poster printer, but it died this week, so we're getting another one. And it has a microfilm machine, a microfilm or microfiche machine, so you can scan, read, and print from that. So if you have any old film, come see us, we can run it for you. In addition, we have the audio video studio. It is still under production. We're coming up with the process of how we're going to efficiently check in and out the materials that are going to be used in the audio video studio. And it's taken a little bit longer time than we wanted, but it is going to be a full audio video production studio. So we have lots of equipment in there that is going to be great for people that are into that. We have free Wi-Fi throughout the building, public computers, a printer and a photocopier, poster printer, wireless printing. You can print from your house and then stop at the library and pick it up. There's an app for that. The microfilm scanner, a document scanner. We do free outgoing fax service, and we also offer one-on-one tech assistance. If you need help with your using your phone or your tablet, we can sit down with you and help you with that. Volunteers have for a long time been the blood of the library. Our most prominent group is the Friends of the Library, and they're the ones that I said that run the bookstore. They also sponsor all of our programs, most of our programs and activities. And we also take volunteers. We're looking right now for summer volunteers that are teens to help with the summer reading program, which is our biggest program throughout the year. And we do take adults volunteers as well to do different special projects and activities around the library. So these are our resident owls, and I'm sad to say that we have not seen them this year yet. So yeah, kind of sad. But I do have a roadrunner who runs up to my window every day with a lizard in his mouth. So that, I think that's the new owl. Exactly. I know. So I did, one thing I didn't talk about was a couple of the partnerships we have with Parks and Rec. We received a grant last year to get a story walk, and working with Liz and Jamie and other parks people, we were able to put the story walk in Prospector Park. So basically, you start over on the north side of the park, and you get to read a full picture book, 18 different stops throughout Prospector Park that goes to the playground. And we have our second book currently in there that is about a moth and a butterfly. And we will be changing those out at least quarterly. We're trying to aim for 3 months, but it got away from us last time. And we also do the Read and Rec program with Parks and Rec, where we go to Flatiron Park with some of the parks people or the recreation people, and we do a program for parents, caregivers of ages 0 to 5. They get a recreation activity from the rec assistants, and they get literacy activities from the library, and it turns into a big party, and then they all go on the splash pad afterwards. So yeah, we're really happy to have such a strong partnership with them. I know Liz and I are, we see eye to eye on a lot of things, and it's going really well so far. So we're really happy to have them. So it's late. I'm tired. You're tired. Any questions?
We still have time for questions. It's okay.
I know.
Oh, Cheryl.
Comment. With your books by the mail that you're trying to do for Homebound,
Yes.
which I love that idea. Here's a suggestion. Salvation Army, we deliver to homebound people. So the thought popped in, maybe if you had flyers, like we can put them in the boxes to the homebound.
Oh, okay.
If that's something that you're interested in, help your program.
Okay. And Al has your info I can get from him?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. See, those are the types of connections we need.
That's why these folks are here.
I know.
Hold on there, Cheryl, hold on. You haven't asked all your questions during
I know.
board
We
meeting?
have a library board meeting tomorrow night, so in case
Okay,
you want to
so,
come.
This is a focus group now. We have been talking about how to market all of the different things, and this is just a small sampling of things that are in that library. It's amazing. First time I walked around, I said, my God, there's more stuff. Wow, look at this aisle. I can't believe they have all this stuff. For the size of the library, it's amazing what they have. How can we market more effectively to share what is available and all of the things that you can do in the library? What's a way we can reach out and communicate better with you?
You're doing a great job as it is now because you guys like pop up on my newsfeed constantly. No, but it's
That's
cool.
on purpose.
No, but it's great. I love it because there's so many different classes that I wasn't aware of. So who's ever doing that is doing a really good job.
Yeah, we have so much content for social media. We use the scheduler, and it's like we can fill up the month in a day, and we still have other things we want to post, but we know that one post a day is normally the best tactic, the best strategy. So social media has definitely been great to us. This month, it's National Poetry Month, so we have different city staff reading poems. Today, Bryant Powell was featured reading a very inspirational poem. But yeah, Chief Pooley, when he read his poem last week, he blew it out of the water. I think it was shared, I don't know, like 25 times already. So it's made its way around, but yeah, we're like Cheryl said, we've come to some points where we're doing some things great, but we know there could be more, and it's hard in a community like this to figure that out.
Cheryl's hit on a point that we probably face as a challenge throughout the city, and that is everybody, as we've made mention more than once, everybody's getting their information in the news from so many different avenues now. It is a challenge. We have to do things in a lot of different ways that we never would have done before. Social media is one, but there are going to have to be a lot of other ways for us to get information out, whether it's the library or parks or the police or anybody else, because there are people who are online and there are people who are looking at Facebook, but there are also thousands and thousands of people who don't. And so
Exactly.
we need to find them too. And so it is. Cheryl's hit on, like I said, I think a major challenge for the library because their demographic is so diverse. It is across the board age-wise, it's across the board in a lot of other ways to measure, and it reflects the city that way as well because we try to get the word out in so many different ways, and we still aren't getting to everybody. It's hard.
I had suggested that maybe we look at something like postcards or mailings, because that way we could hit everybody with a mailbox. One of the things we've talked about a number of times on the board is that because we don't have a paper, we don't have that avenue as a way in which to connect with the public. But we can, maybe we could combine and do stuff with Parks and Rec and the library once a month, send it out through the mail and just hit as many people as possible that way if we pool resources. So this is
Right.
just an idea.
Do you currently do anything in the mail? I know you have the Citizen, but that's not through the mail.
No, mail, so delivery is expensive. It's a, so question is what is Parks and Rec, have we done mailers? We've not done direct mailers because of the expense, and then also maybe something you'll find in your surveys, it ends up in junk. So unless it really stands out and they're really looking for it, you're spending a whole lot of money for maybe little return. But to answer your question, also, it's the education part. It's coming to small groups like this. It's doing your neighborhood meetings. It's going to your parents. Because now we've shared with this 10 people, much more powerful than even social media is personal experience. So you guys need to go to the library and go to the park so you can turn around and share that personal experience with 10 people, to share it with 10 people, to share it with 10 people. But it has to be a good experience because your negative experiences weigh out, they do more harm, they catch more people. So go share your experiences. Say, if you need help getting a job, go to the library. You can't figure out your iPad, go to the library. How amazing. This age group knows you have VHSs of your weddings, your anniversaries, things that are important to you. They're sitting in a VHS, but you don't have a way to watch them. The library can change it to a DVD, and how much do they charge? $0.
Yes. I should have.
People don't know
Amy,
that
will
that
you
exists.
do my presentation next time
Yeah.
for me, please?
So that you need to share those tidbits. People think the library is just about books. It isn't. So
Very good point.
Thank you,
Very good
Jamie.
point.
Do you utilize the Chamber of Commerce?
We do. We do. Actually, we've gone to one of their last mixers. One thing I should mention that I meant to mention, we hired an outreach librarian last September. She is amazing. Her name is Megan. She will go anywhere, anytime, and talk about anything, and she is super friendly. She is a great marketer. She has really done a lot of positive things for us already, and I just can't wait to see where it goes from there once we get the mobile library even bigger and better than what it currently is. At the moment, it can't really transport books effectively, and that's what we're working on right now, is to make it into like a true bookmobile that also has additional services on it. But yeah, the chamber, yeah, they're great there. We know Heather and Marianne, yep.
And I think that's what we're hitting on. There isn't a one answer. All of these answers are the answer, and there are probably dozens more.
Yep.
That's what we've got to try to figure out, and how we can best use them, and where we put our resources. Because yeah, there is going to be some things that are obviously going to cost money, but there's other things that if we go to all the different neighborhoods. Yeah, we can get to a lot of folks that way and do some of that sort of grassroots thing that Jamie's talking about as
Right.
well.
But also the development of the South, how is that going to change us? Are we going to get a paper again, or are we going to get some other type of
Some communication
sort
avenue
of,
down
yeah,
there.
exactly. So, because there is going to be a library down there.
Yes, there is. Yes, there
And
is.
it wasn't mentioned on the news last week, and I let Bryant know that they said parks, they said police, they said school, but they didn't say library. And he
Wait,
said, I told them, but they left you out mistakenly. And I said, that's unacceptable.
Okay, I'll remember that. I was going to say, I thought I remember that too, so that's,
I did. I was
I'll
like,
have to
what
remember
is
that.
going on?
I'm,
It's a conspiracy against the library.
it's a conspiracy. That's probably right, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, other questions? The library director, Pam Harrison, thank you very much.
you.
Okay, everyone, are you ready? Believe it or not, we can see the finish line. We will be back in 2 weeks. Does anybody have a final thought, by the way, on shirts, color or otherwise? You like blue? Black? You guys like black, huh? Black. All right. Who likes black? 1, 2, 3, 4. Who likes blue? 3. Very interesting. Anybody like the gray? What's with the purple? I'll have to get with the purple. Okay, I will. You know what I will try to do is get a little mock-up so I can send around to everybody so they can take a look, because it shouldn't take too long. Well, that's what I got to look at, because this is the last one that we had. It's the polyester. That's true. Yeah, that's right. And I do have to get those folks as well. We had cotton shirts in the past. The last couple of ones are this more breathable polyester. It's a little lighter, which can work. People like and don't like. This is a local supplier. That's why I like to use it. Not quite in the city, just on the other side of Meridian, but local nonetheless. Okay, we will get to that as well. 2 weeks from now, on the 27th, we will be in here for the last time. We will cover the last couple of areas, which is, like I said, the city attorney's office, the city clerk's office. We will also talk a little bit about nonprofits, and then Matthew and I will talk to you a little bit about what we do in marketing and communications, and we'll try to wrap up everything as best we can on other things that the city is involved in, so you're aware of that. Don't forget, city council meeting next Tuesday. If you haven't been to one, next Tuesday is the next one. It should be a short one, not a big, long agenda. There is no work session on Monday, so Tuesday is your next chance. The following week should be a planning and zoning meeting. If you haven't been to one yet, there was one last night. Should be one on the 26th. And then we'll be back here on the 27th. And then I'm probably going to set up, it may be May 17th is our graduation day. We will have to see how that all plays out, because that could be the council appointment night too, so it could be a very interesting night. But we'll work out those dates as well. All right, I will see you all in 2 more weeks. Thank you as always. Please drive home safely.